Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Michael Bird, and I am joined by my man Rob Chismark in Middlebrook, Florida. And when they bring us together, we are what, Rob?
I think they call us the Sticky Side Podcast.
That's it. Here we are with another episode of the Sticky Side, man. What's going on down there in Florida, bro?
Same old, same old. We're getting ready for Open number 6. It's going to be down in Winter Haven, Florida this weekend. I just had my regional last weekend on Sunday. ACL Pro Alex Rawls took down singles, and he and his brother ACL Pro Alan Rawls took down doubles. So,
where'd you finish?
Par for the course. I finished in singles. I finished 7th, and in doubles, I think I finished 5th. But
bro, what's up with all that mediocre shit? When you gonna win one?
I'll win one. Don't you worry. I'm bringing my gun.
I'm your number one fan, Rob. I'm trying to see you achieve your cornhole goals, man.
I don't feel like you are. I feel like you're my number one unfan.
Oh no!
But we all know who Laura's number one fan is. We all know.
It's Rob Chismark.
Oh God,
man, what
I missed
a kiss
you.
ass.
I missed that voice.
God,
I missed that voice. I missed that voice, man.
Well, get ready, man, because this weekend we got I don't know what's going on in Florida, but we got the monster snowstorm coming in. Supposed to snowstorm on Sunday. Set the boards up, fellas. Let's play some snow hole.
That sounds terrible. What the heck? Snow? No way, bro. No
well,
way.
Look, man. I'm excited about our guest tonight, Rob. Joining us tonight, I'm going to call him, arguably. It's not even an argument in my book, but he is the godfather of tournament directors. This man's been directing organized cornhole tournaments probably 2 decades now, for the most part. I don't mean to age you there, Ryan, but it's pretty close to
old.
It, right? We got my man.
Am I in? Yeah. Am I in the mix?
You're in it, man. We got ACO long-time tournament director Ryan Labelle joining us tonight. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, my man and my lady?
Whoa.
She's laughing. Ryan, just how long have you been a tournament director, man?
I would say I like to say 17 years, but it's really been 16 years. 2022 will be around November, will be 17 years that I've been kind of messing around with this crazy game that we love.
Oh,
yeah,
so
that's freaking awesome. Holy smokes.
Yeah, so you, let's see, ACO started in 2005. When did you jump on board with the ACO?
Well,
and tell us the story. How'd you get involved with them?
Well, so 05, November of 05, Thanksgiving weekend, I went to West Virginia, Huntington. I got a good buddy I grew up with, lives there. And that's where this first time I ever saw a cornhole board, first time I ever threw a bag. And we were at a local bar right by his house. You want me to go this detail?
Yeah, man. Let's hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So we go, and when I go see my buddy Robbie in West Virginia, it's just that anytime we see each other, till this day, you just start drinking and you hang out the whole time, and then you just go home. I mean, that's what it is. We just drink and have a good time. So we go to the bar up the road from his house, and we played horseshoes. I had a pit out here in the backyard and stuff, and me and his wife were out there, and I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's cornhole, whatever." And the boards, and they were sweet. They were awesome. They were built really good and heavy. Now I look back on it, they had hardwood flooring across the board, like it was planks. And dude, it was solid. Now that I look back on it, but I didn't know what I was doing. We were just tossing the bags, and I'm real competitive with stuff like that. And so we played, and it was fun, but I was getting my ass kicked. So the next day, Robbie and his brother that went up with me, they had a hangover or whatever. So I was like, Joni, let's just go up to the bar and they'll come up here later, whatever. So we go back to that same bar. I dragged them boards out at noon, and then I just start throwing them. People come in, I'm challenging people, whatever. And next thing you know, Robbie and Jeremy come up, and they had a big fence around the back outside part where the boards were. And I saw Jeremy coming around, and I jumped up on that fence and I stuck my head over, and I was like, Jeremy, get your ass in here. You're my partner, and we're going to beat all these motherfuckers. Excuse my French. We're going to beat them. So he comes in, dude, and we played till 3 a.m. We were challenging everybody, and we were winning. Like, we were doing good. The old fucking end over to end bag, whatever. And, then I came home, ordered a set of boards. And when they came in, they were plywood, 2x4 frames, the classic.
Mm-hmm. The bouncy boards.
No finish on them at all. So they come, I immediately put on the polyurethane. Mm-hmm. So, hey, this is nuts. This is nuts, dude. So this was around December of 2005. So out the back side of my house, I have a door on this end, and I got a sliding glass door on this end, and I've got 2 8x8 decks built, and then it steps down to a 16x20 deck. So I was telling all my buddies, I was like, dude, you got to come play this game. It's so awesome. I said, we could probably play on the deck at the house. And I shit you not, this is no lie. You put a board in the center of this deck and a board in the center of this deck, and it's exactly 27 feet. I can't make this up. I can't make it. I cannot make it up. And
long before
a cornhole court is, 8 feet by 8 by 8 is it was unreal. So, meant to be, if you get into all that, maybe it was meant to be. I don't know. All I know is we could play cornhole at the house, and we played the shit out of it. So after that,
that's awesome.
I sold liquor. I was in the liquor business back then. And there was a bar next door to the store I ran. And he come and bought liquor from us all the time. And I was like, hey, Pope, let me you think I could set this game up at your bar on Tuesday night, and we can play some little tournament, whatever. Within a month, it was the busiest night of the week. Now, you got to mind you, this was like probably 2006 at this point. And we were rocking it over here. He extended his deck to accommodate some more boards, and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, of course, we're running on paper. We're playing with, corn bags and all this shit. Well, I was like, man, we got to get some different bags. Like, these bags wear out quick, and all this. So I went online and I was just looking up cornhole bags, and I went through like probably 5 pages on Google search. Boom, just going through. Mm-hmm. And I saw the ACO symbol on one of the pages. I was like, well, that looks legit. Let me see what they got. Well, they had these resin bags. I said, well, I'm gonna order a set. Well, I got a set in. I was like, man, these are awesome. They had, resin. They had a little patch on them. They were suede on both sides. So it's just a double sticky side bag back then or whatever. There wasn't no 2-sided bag back then.
What year did you say this was?
06.
06? Okay.
Yep. And so we started playing with these bags, right? And so then after that, this is funny, and I always bust Frank Gear's balls about this being back then, because there was no season, there was no points, there was none of that stuff back then. I just ordered some bags. Well, on their landing page on the website, it said, fill out this questionnaire about becoming a representative of the American Cornhole Organization. So I'm knee deep. I'm loving cornhole. I'm like, hell, I'm gonna type this in, whatever. And it was like 9 a.m. I've been to liquor stores, no one there. And I hit send. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I remember it's like it's yesterday. It's crazy. And I make fun of Frank all the time about this. I took 2 steps and my phone rang. Like my phone rang after I took 2 steps. I picked it up. He goes, hey, this is Frank Gears from the ACO. I went, holy shit, really? like this, like that. So I talked to him or whatever. And you know, so immediately after me and Frank hung up, I called my buddy Keith. You know, I don't know if Bird knows Keith Wilkins. He was like my partner or whatever. We did cornhole and stuff. And I immediately called him at work and I was like, Keith, you'll never guess who I just talked to, the president of the cornhole organization. You know, it's like a big deal. And, you know, I mean, I was excited, but so after that, I was like, man, they got these boards and they're like $300. I was like, I'm not paying $300 for a set of cornhole boards. There's no way. Well, we ended up ordering a set. And when they came in, yeah. And when they came in, I was like, holy shit, these are incredible. I was like, and I would show people the boards and they're like, I'm not paying $300 for a set of those boards. I was like, yeah, I get it. But, you know, you might drive a shitty car. Some people drive a nice car. I mean, it is what it is. But
well, back then, man, back then those boards were like a piece of furniture. I mean, well, they.
Dude, I brought that board out and we started. So at PJ's, that was the bar that I ran this thing at. We always played the finals on the good ACO boards, right? The old, the tournament series boards. And people were like, man, I got to have a set. Next thing you know, I'm just selling them like hotcakes. Like people's like, I don't care. I need them. They got hooked. You know, they got addicted. You know, just like anything else now. You know, we can go into now the bags, the board. So anyway, after that, I was like, man, there's a lot of people that like to play cornhole like we do. I said, I'm going to try to run like a tournament. So there was about 6 of us that played all the time at my house and whatever. And we were like the good players. So I said, look, we're going to run a tournament on a Saturday at PJ's. That was the bar. And I said, but we cannot play together. You got to go find somebody else to play with.
Now, this is a non-ACO tournament. This is just something.
There was no ACO season or nothing back then. There was nothing. Gotcha. They had ran the first world championships with like, it was basically all Cincinnati players and, you know, whatever. Just, of course, Matt Guy won back then, but, you know, it was like 30, 40 people there. Yeah. But anyway, we all found us a partner from when we played the blind draws, and we played the tournament, and it was cool. I think we had 15 or 16 players or whatever. Well, after that, I was like, well, we're going to run another tournament. Well, I run another tournament, and we ended up ordering like 5 more sets of those boards so we could have all the same. And, of course, we provided all the bags back then and stuff like that. And we that first tournament I ran at PJ's, dude, we might have had 30 teams showed up. It was crazy, like out of nowhere. 30 teams showed up. I was like, holy shit. And I'm playing and I'm trying to run it. And a 30 team tournament lasts like 8 hours. It was embarrassing now that I look back on it, but we had a great time. And so after that, I was telling my buddy Keith, I was like, man, people really like playing this. It's fun and everybody has a good time. I said, we need to start running more tournaments and gearing up towards that and, you know, whatever else. So we had a guy out of Charlotte, Craig Willers, and I will say this on record right now on this podcast, Craig Willers, who owns Shane's Rib Shack. He owns like 3 of them now. I don't know if you know Mark Spiegel, Bird.
No,
you know Mark
I don't.
Spiegel. He lives in Vegas now. Anyway, Craig Willers is the inventor of the money shot. Hands down, the first time I've ever seen a money shot was, I think it was 2006. And you know what the money shot was?
No.
You put your ticket. You put your tickets in, right? Your tickets drawn. All you had to do was throw an 8 on a normal board, and you won it.
Nice.
Yeah. Dude, it was awesome.
Now there's all different kinds of formats. You're responsible, whether you know it or not, for the format that's taking fire here in the Raleigh area, because I copied you. I took yours with the chip drawing, and you had to throw this on the chips.
Yeah.
I took that and brought it to North Carolina back in probably 2015, and now that is still, nobody had heard of that until I introduced it at the Upper Deck in Cary, North Carolina, and now that's the only way people are doing money shots basically around this area.
Yeah, and it adds another element of fun to it, suspense. What are they going to draw? Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went from there, and we were running tournaments all up and down the East Coast. Like, I had gotten contacted from a radio station. You ever heard of a place called the Masquerade in Atlanta? It's a big music venue. I've seen so many bands there. I'm a big music guy.
They got half-clothed women in there?
Well, I mean, it's like 3 stories. Like. I ran a big tournament in the back of that place. I didn't know what I was getting into, and it was crazy. It was like 100 teams. We got through it. It was good. And then after that, we went up and down the East Coast. I say the East Coast. Georgia, South Carolina, almost into Virginia, and we were running tournaments, even in Raleigh, Bird, and you didn't even come to any of them back then because
I didn't know about cornhole.
Cornhole was.
Man, I didn't get into it until 2011. So,
right.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you this. You said you ran a tournament in Atlanta with 100 players or 100 teams.
100 teams.
100 teams. Now, what did you use? Just paper brackets?
Nope. So at that, and I still have that on my computer right now. Tournament Maker 2.1 was the name of the the software, and it's a solid software. The only bad thing about it is it doesn't tell you what board people are on. So I don't like to toot my horn and brag or anything, but I'm gonna tell you this: have you ever run a tournament and somebody comes up and says, "We won on board 2"? How many times has people come and told you what board they played on?
Oh, it's I've done it several times.
But people come and tell you what board they played on. Yeah. That was the only indicator I knew to call another team to that board. So when your game was over, you came in, you said, "We won on court 2." I would click it, and then I would click the next game immediately and call it out to court 2, and that way I could keep up with the courts. See, now, you got court assignments out by your game, so it makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the stuff, we're kind of getting into the new stuff, and I was going to save that for later, but, I mean, right now is a perfect time to talk about the new software that's out there with Scoreholio, and, and the ACL's got a good software out there, too. Now, you really, all your job is to input the names now into the software, and basically the tournament will run itself for the most part.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's all automated. They get their notifications, or you can have a TV screen that, they can look up and see where they're at and all that stuff. A lot of people tell me, they're like, "Oh, you just lost your job as an announcer." And I'm like, nah, somebody's still got to run the software, Yeah. So I try to keep up with all the new and upcoming things and try to stay, on top of all that.
Well,
because I am a tournament director, but
yeah. What did you think about it when it first got released? Did you have anything to do with Scoreholio? Did you have any input?
I helped them a lot with developing their bracket seating. Because at first they had like a 16, maybe a 32 bracket, and as they were, because I saw Scoreholio probably before it went live as an app, I saw it on Facebook. I just saw the thing up on the TV screen. And I was like, what is that? That's awesome. And I want to know more about it. So I messaged Ben, and I was like, hey man, I'm a tournament director, been doing it a while. If you ever need any help with any of this, that thing looks cool. I'm here to help you do whatever. And he actually knew who I was because he was an ACO certified official years ago. And he knew who I was, and he was like, yeah, we're trying to do this and that. And I helped them with their seedings, and I can't take credit for anything really, but I just kind of, did give a helping hand along the way. But
you were an advisor. Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah, I helped them out with, some insights, because I know brackets, and stuff like that. But with Scoreholio, my biggest thing was I wasn't too much of a fan running it manually with Scoreholio, but once I got the tablets, and the first day that I set the tablets up and it ran itself, I said, this is the shit. Like, this is it. Like, I have never been able to walk around and socialize with people during a tournament. Like that's one of the biggest things I hated about running a tournament, because I only got to talk to people if you won.
Yeah.
So when you win, you have to
no
come.
No wonder I never talked to you, man.
Right, exactly. Hey.
Rob will tell the winner of the match, hey man, I got this. I got you. I just want to go talk to Ryan. I'll tell him you won.
Hey, and by the way, since I'm in Italy, I'm drinking a little wine.
Yeah, you are. I like it. Well, you drank a lot of wine right there, boy.
Well, actually, that was a Yager bomb, but it's cool.
Man, the first time I saw that Scoreholio in action, it was that ACO major in Manassas this year, and I watched Chris. He sat under his little tent over there and was putting that thing together and inputting all the names. It seems like it takes a while to do all the input, but once you get the input in, man, you can focus on other things, like player questions, which is like 40% of your time under the tent. But it's amazing me how it works, and the developers and everybody that had a hand to play in that software, man. Kudos to them, because that shit is smart.
One thing that's funny, you said player questions.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that me and Keith used to always say when we would run tournaments back in, 7, 8, 9, 2010, I said, and when we be done, I was like, dude, we only had 3 questions today. That means we're doing something right. We're putting it out there. Like, people don't have to ask us. That means you're doing it right if no one has to ask you questions. Of course, you're going to get some stupid questions, but for the most part, that's one of my biggest things as a tournament director is if I have minimal questions, that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Damn, I had a lot of questions all the time. I guess that's why I'm sitting behind a microphone now.
Because you can ask questions.
Yeah, right.
You're like, why ain't I winning?
Damn, fuck you, Ryan. Turn this camera off.
I was like, Bird, you've been playing a year. You're just not there yet, buddy. You'll get there.
Look, I got no excuses, but I'm going to just say right now, I haven't played because I'm having some minor health issues right now with a pinched nerve, and it's on my throwing arm side. So, I was going to go to an ACL tournament in Nashville. I was going to go to Florida this week. Can't do that. ACO, when is ACO going to be in Knoxville?
Next weekend.
So I'm trying to go to that one, but we'll see, man. Pitch nerves aren't fun. I even bought 4 sets of bags, put them in the wash, the dryer, got them all broke in, ready to rock, man. But, no excuses. I'll come back, or I'll start directing tournaments again or something. I kind of miss it. I kind of miss it, honestly.
Hey, Bird, you said no excuses, but you do have an excuse.
I got plenty of them. But we do have a tournament coming up this year in July. Actually, the Sweet Willie Cornhole tournament down on the East Coast here in Emerald Isle. I heard you were coming down to that to help us run it.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't gave me any details. But,
yeah, I know. All I know is it's $10,000 purse. So I'm probably going to make a trip next week down there. He wants to go over the logistics, and man, he's talking about putting scaffolds up, and it's going to be a big deal, man. But yeah, there'll be more details coming up on that.
Hey, when you put scaffolds up, does that make a tournament a big deal?
Dude,
that makes it a big deal.
Makes
boy.
it a big deal, man.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah.
Well, not only
hey, I'm gonna have to give me some scaffolding.
Do something, boy. You better do something. Make your tournaments a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's a surfing contest, so they've got scaffolding out there for that, and then of course
that's right up my alley.
I could see you out there on a board with that hair in the wind, with the hat on, surfing. All right, we kind of got off track. You were talking about your early days in the AC. Before you joined the ACO as a director. Boy, look at him. He's just killing that wine, bro. You're supposed to sip that, right?
That's a Jaeger bomb. Don't let them fool you.
That was a Jaeger bomb?
They're all Jaeger bombs. He's just putting them in a wine glass so he looks sophisticated.
He's going to be so jacked up.
And you shoot it out of the sriracha. It's easy.
Rob, I think Labelle's going to be incoherent in 20 minutes.
I love this guy. Right? I had no idea. I love this guy this much.
All right, let's all wait on Ryan to fall out of the chair.
What I really want to know, though, so we were all the way up to where you almost joined the ACO. Tell me how that conversation went. Tell me how Frank Gears reached out and said, I need you to be my lead director. When did that happen?
That didn't happen like that. Like, the point system and the season and all that stuff started coming to fruition or whatever. And have like regional tournaments, and then you're out trying to search for all these cornhole groups all across the country as much, and there was no Facebook back then. Like, I used to inform my people that we had tournaments through email back then or mass text. And it's funny, I could show you on my phone. So to categorize all the cornhole people in my phone, I put the word cornhole before their name and then their name. So when I got ready to send out a text to everybody on the phone, I could type in cornhole and then all my players would be in a list.
Smart.
And it's funny that there's people that I try to call now and I type their name in and it doesn't come up. But when I type cornhole in, boom, there they are.
I used to do that with all my Tinder matches. Send them all a date notification at once. No, I'm just joking.
But anyway, so the season started, the point stuff, and so now you're out here trying to find these groups, and that was just a long ongoing thing for years. Finding new people, new groups. It was an infancy stage. So I was like, well, I know these people in West Virginia, or I know these people. I know. And then and then you call them, you're like, oh, we're doing this, doing that. And then it just slowly evolves into having somewhat of a following and a group that's running these same tournaments that lead to the world championships. And so going back to the question Rob just said about me directing and all that. Well, we were in Vegas the first year. It was the second year we were in Vegas, Samstown Casino. I told Frank, I said, Frank, let me run this tournament. I said, I've run more tournaments than y'all have. I run tournaments all the time at this point. It was like 08 maybe, because I'd been like really going at it. 08, 09, I was like, let me run the tournament. And
so you got to Vegas and asked him that, or beforehand? Are you
in Vegas?
In Vegas. So you went there to play.
We were about to start stuff. I was like, let me run this tournament. I know what I'm doing. You know, I quit. I'm the only one in the ACO till this day that does not compete because, and I made a decision years ago to direct tournaments, because you need somebody when you go to these big events. You got to have people focused on making the event run good. You can't go play and you're not going to give a good experience for the player. So for me, I said, you know what? I'll sacrifice. I love playing cornhole, but I'm going to sacrifice me trying to shine as the best player to make sure that all these people have a good time and a good run tournament and they have a good experience. And that's one thing that I've always laid my name on the line for, is to make sure that people have a good experience at an event. So I kind of made that decision years ago. And with Scoreholio and stuff now, with it being automated, I'm starting to get in the mix a little more. I'm starting to get to play a little bit because I don't have to sit there and call names all day and all that. But yeah, I said, let me run this tournament, Frank. And it ran good. And I remember that night they had a big room upstairs, and the whole team that ran the event. And he was like, and it made me feel good. He's like, first of all, let's give it up for Ryan. He did a awesome job today doing this and whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I had no doubt it was going to be good because this is what I do. And in the sense from then on, I've just been the guy that runs the tournament, and that's how people know me, because I always run the tournaments and I always talk on the mic. You know what's funny about talking on the mic? Like, people say, man, I love to hear you talk on the mic. You're clear, blah, blah, blah. But the first tournament I ran that I had to get on the mic in front of a bunch of people. And I'm not a real shy guy. I was as a kid, but as an adult, I'm not a real shy guy. But we were at the Marriott here in Spartanburg, big hotel, and we were in the ballroom. And right before the tournament started, I had probably 100 teams there, and I was like, a big crowd. And right before we're going to start, I was like, I got to talk to all these people right now. So I grabbed that mic, and I'm nervous as shit. And I get through it. And then after that, I don't know, I developed a comfortable way of talking on the mic or whatever. Because, I did a lot of NASCAR stuff, for about 5 or 6 years, where I talked in front of like thousands of people out there or whatever.
Wait, hold on. Yep. Let me pause you. I had no idea about that. What kind of NASCAR, how were you involved with NASCAR?
All right, so again, I don't like to toot my horn or brag. I'm just
saying,
Ryan.
Come on.
I was in the right place at the right time. So there was a group out of Charlotte. Now, I didn't know anything about them. So this guy contacts me, and he's like, hey, what would it cost to get you to a tournament? It's a 2-day tournament, blah, blah, blah. Bring the equipment. We're in Charlotte. I'm in Spartanburg, so I'm only an hour away. I was like, hey, this and that. So then he's talking to me. He's like, well, what should we do? Whatever. I said, what is this event? He goes, it's at the Charlotte NASCAR race. I said, oh, this is big time. This is a big thing. Well, what I didn't realize is I was talking to a marketing company called Hirschfeld Worldwide. It was Todd Hirschfeld. And I'll tell you, he was the guy that had the NTL. You remember that? The NTL at the NASCAR races? Anybody remember that?
Yeah, I think so, vaguely.
The same group. So the very first, I'll take credit. I don't know, but I know that that's the first NASCAR tournament that I've ever heard of. And dude, when I showed up with my boards, it was insane. I could send you pictures. The first one, they had the big Budweiser bar. It was a trailer that could seat like 40 people around it. It had girls in there with the skimpy clothes. They had the banners. They had a big court by Swiss Tracks was the name of the sponsor, which was a floor company that like all these NASCAR people could put the Swiss Tracks in their garages and you could roll cars on it. They had a Swiss Tracks floor with the numbers embedded into the floor, the logos. It was awesome, dude. It was one of the best setups that I've ever seen to date. Banners. We had the RVs. I was running a tournament, and back then I was running it on Tournament Maker 2.1. This was in 09, I think. And after that, I ended up going on a circuit with them. And of course, I work a regular job, so it wasn't like I did that full time. So I had to get off and, this and that. But I went to 10 tracks every year. We went to every SMA track, which is Bruton Smith on Texas, Watkins Glen. I could tell you, I could do a whole podcast about Watkins Glen. Dover, Delaware, Charlotte, Bristol. Bristol was probably the funnest, because everybody says, oh, that's a fun race, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about a big time, man, those were some of the best times that I've had in cornhole, because you're at a race and you got thousands of people there and everybody's drinking and having a good time.
They just quit doing that tournament or what?
Well, so what ended up happening is the ACO got a sponsorship to do that too. And so I was privy to helping them out. Like I was already knee deep. Like Frank was my buddy, whatever, Joe Montgomery, whatever. And, so all that, I think there was a falling out maybe with the marketing company. I don't know, but I just know that there was a new tournament, same deal. And I was like, look, man, I got to run this tournament.
Wait, Joe Montgomery was involved with that? He came in?
Yeah, Joe Montgomery was in with ACO back then, and then Joe and ACO had a little falling out, and then Joe took over the whole thing, and I kept doing stuff with Joe. And either way, long story short, I did a bunch of stuff on the NASCAR circuit, a bunch. Like it was, you can ask anybody. There's so many players that came. And one of the coolest things was at the NASCAR is like, you win money and stuff, and it was all for a charity, the Speedway Children's Charities. But one of the coolest things is when you won on Sunday, right before the race started, they packed you up on a golf cart and drove you into like Bristol into the bowl. And you got recognized right before the race started on the fucking big mic and everything, right before the national anthem. It was cool, man. I've seen a lot of cool shit with cornhole that people haven't seen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, I tell you what, man, the speaking of cool, I'll go ahead and bring this up. I don't know how much information you've got on it, but I believe it's in August. The ACO is going to have a tournament at the Field of Dreams.
Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, that's just the one to add to the list of a lot of other cool stuff that's happened. But that's a pretty cool find.
That's a cool one, bro. And I'm thinking about going to that.
It is.
I'm thinking about going to that. I mean, damn.
So it's open to anybody that wants to play. They got a 25 grand, I think, purse. They're going to do 4 qualifiers Friday and Saturday, and they'll take the top 6 teams from each qualifier that get into the main event. And then the top 40 at the time, because this is in August next year. So the top 40 from this season in June or May, whenever the season ends, right there around June, the top 40 get a free entry in. They get free hotel. They get a bunch of stuff, and they can get a partner. So that's 40 teams, and then you get 24 from the qualifiers, and then you got a 64 bracket that's going to play for 24 grand or 25 grand. No, I think I think every team gets paid something, but I think first place is $5 grand. But other than the money, you know what I'm saying? Like the experience.
Well, I mean, the experience. Which organization had a tournament on Lambeau Field?
That was us.
That was the ACL. So, I mean, where else can you have opportunities like to play on NFL football field and to play on one of the most iconic movie sets ever, which is the Field of Dreams baseball field? That's just epic. And it would be even awesomer if Kevin Costner was to make an appearance there. Awesomer. Yeah.
Forget about Kevin. Let's get Morgan Freeman out there. That's what who I want to see.
Morgan Freeman wasn't in that movie. That was James Earl Jones.
That's who I said.
No, you said
Darth
Morgan
Vader.
Freeman.
I want Darth Vader in.
So Ryan, you directed that tournament in Vegas. All right. Frank loved it. He loved you. He brought you on board, and you became like his full-time tournament director from that point on?
Well, we were already friends. And let me back up one step.
Yeah, I mean, you bought them boards. Of course you're friends.
Well, and I might have the first ever board bought from him. Who knows? But hey, I will say this, and anybody can disagree and whatever. Those are the best boards that were ever made, I think, till this day. That board, it was the best board. It's a great board. And everybody used to complain talking about the slickness of it and, whatever. But every board maker now is doing the UV finish. A lot of them are doing the UV.
Everyone, for sure.
So what I'm saying is, Frank, you got to give him a little props. And I'm not here to pump Frank up and whatever. I'm saying that board was a Cadillac, and it still is to this day. It's still the Cadillac. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I just tell the truth. I don't know how you can make a better board. Now, I've seen other boards that are similar or just as good or whatever. I'm not knocking anybody. But that, Frank, you got to think this was 2007 that he made that board.
So from 2007, and it's 2022 now.
Yeah.
And that board is still what you would consider a Cadillac, right?
Yeah, but the only difference is now you can print on them and all that stuff. You know what I mean? You got that technology, but
I mean, not just the boards, man, but the ACO and Frank Gears is responsible for a lot of stuff. They were the originators of so much equipment. In 2006, in 2007, the airmail box the ACO came out with.
Yep.
And everybody uses the airmail box now. The ACO Pro Jersey was introduced in 2007. Now everybody, no matter what organization you're in, wears Pro Jerseys. Also, the resin filled bags is an ACO thing. The two-sided bag is an ACO thing.
I remember the day that the two-sided bag was unveiled in Vegas at Sam's Town. I remember sitting there. I was like, what in the hell? I remember the first day that they printed on a bag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, I was like, I've got them in my closet right now. I could bring them out. I was like, God, y'all can print on bags. They had like the world's logo on there. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And it was on the suede side only because you couldn't print on the other side or whatever. They didn't have sublimation, I think, back. I don't know. But yeah. Hey, and one thing just to when we're talking about bags, right here, I'm looking at it in my I got a little trophy case out here. I've got, okay, so do you ever, the most prestigious tournament to me, and I actually played in the first one, and this tournament went on for several years, and then they had some whatever. But anyway, it was downtown Cincinnati, right on Fountain Square. It was called, it was an Easter Seals fundraiser. And Frank incorporated a top 16 players in the country come and play a 2 out of 3 single limb event right on Fountain Square, Cincinnati. So the first one ever done in 07, there was no season or anything. So he was just trying to find players from all over that he could bring in to do it. That's the first time I met Frank in person. I got to play because we did a little tournament here, and whoever won got to go play. Well, I ended up winning. We went and played. So my point is, I got a bag right here in my thing where Matt Guy won that tournament, and I've got that bag, and he signed it.
Nice.
That's
the first cool. ever pro tournament ever, or pro tournament.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a really cool thing they did there on Fountain Square. I know they only did it for about 3 years or whatever, but that was really an unbelievable tournament because it was the who's who of cornhole, because he tried to bring in every one of the top players that he could, and they all came at that point. So because there was pretty good money built into that tournament as well, even though it was a fundraiser. So yeah, that's really neat. I wish they'd bring that back somehow, just somehow, just because it was one hell of an event.
It was an awesome setting, and one of the biggest thing that I remember from that tournament was Jack Staggy. I don't know if y'all know Jack Staggy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah,
he was the first one. He won the tournament, but when he beat Matt Guy that day, Matt Guy hadn't been touched in 5 years. Matt Guy had won everything for 5 years. And then Jack Staggy in the wind with his little push bag that was just unorthodox as shit. He beat Matt Guy, and you can watch it on YouTube. It's on. And Matt Guy was just disgusted. He just walked off, and he come back. But it was a big monumental moment.
Yeah. You know, for so long, man, the ACO was the only place you could play cornhole. From 2005 to probably 2012, they pretty much had the market in the United States. Then you had this organization would come, another one, the CCL, the ATL, which later, I'm sorry, what was ATL called before it was that? Was it Cobb's or?
Well, it was the American. It was the American Tailgating League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was ATL first.
So before that, you had the NTL, which is the National Tailgating League, and they were trying to move into cornhole too, but they kind of just squashed it, I think.
Well, it was the ACA too, right?
No, that's a whole different.
Now the ACA.
They're from Cincinnati too.
Yeah.
The ACA was the original OG. Like I've got a card. I should have brought it out here. ACA was way before anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you could just sign up and they would send you a card. It'd be a little laminated piece of paper. But you still felt like you had something, you know?
Well, who was the head up of the ACA?
Well, back then, nobody knew, and they didn't run tournaments. They didn't do anything. They were just like the ACA. I mean, it was just like,
yeah. And
they had like tournament listings, but they didn't actually run tournaments and have anything going.
Well,
but they are the original OGs. I'll say as organized cornhole, but they didn't really organize cornhole. They just kind of had their, hey, join the association. And once you joined, it didn't mean anything after that. But
well, you can find
you got a card.
I've seen their cornhole boards in retail stores for sale. And I've also seen, like on their website, I think it says the ACA is a governing body of cornhole. But every organization says they're the governing body of cornhole. The ACO, the ATL, with ACL, everybody says it. So who is the real governing body of cornhole, Ryan Labelle?
Hey, it goes by what I guess.
Burner series.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, I look at it like this. On a national level, think about this, Rob, and you might, and Bird, you can relate to this too. And I can relate to it way more than y'all can because I was way back when, and I was the only tournament on the block, okay? So I'm going up and down Charlotte, and I'm going hour, 2 hours, 3 hours from home running tournaments. Well, as we get more players involved playing in the tournaments that we're running and everything's good, what always happens? Oh, I can run a tournament. Right. We ain't got to go to his tournament. We'll just run our own tournament. And then it just dilutes, and it just keeps getting diluted more and more. So instead of me having 100 players or 100 teams at my tournament, that weekend, now we got 10 tournaments with 10 teams in each tournament. So it just gets diluted. So I think now I'm all for everything cornhole, what everybody does. I do ACO stuff. You do ACL stuff. He does CCL stuff. He does his own shit. I do burner series and whatever. But my point is that the game's getting bigger and it's getting more diluted on the national level too. Yeah. It's the same thing at local level. Now it's getting that way at national level. Because think about this. If you've got thousands of members, right? You can't run thousands of people through an event on a weekend. It just ain't possible. So, people's like, oh, I can't play here. I'm going to go play over here. I want to play in a big event, or I'm going to play over here, or I'm going to do this. So it still gets diluted on the national level, which is a good problem to have because that means a lot of people's playing cornhole. A lot of people love it. Yeah. So, the groups have to figure out how can we accommodate all these players and give them a chance to compete at these big events.
I tell you what, man, it seems like since the ACL in 2015, 16 to 17 was like their real big come out year. I think since they came out, they actually helped the ACO a lot as far as their player participation because the ACO hasn't missed a beat. If anything, they've gained players at their majors.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is a fact. If you, however you achieve it, if you can get on national TV, it's going to elevate the game, period. Oh, yeah. No matter where you want to play or what group it is, when people see it on TV, they're like, dang, cornhole's big. You know what? I'm pretty good. I want to go play. That is a huge positive for cornhole. Huge.
Right.
I mean, I watch everything cornhole that comes on. Live streams. I mean, of course, I'm a cornhole guy, so I can find it on the stream and I can put it up on my TV. It was funny. My buddy was over here Friday, and he goes, damn, it's on TV? I said, well, it's on my TV. It's not on national TV, but it's on my TV.
Do you ever think the ACO will be on TV? You think that's
I don't know. I mean, who knows? The one thing I wonder about TV, and I think about this a lot, and the reason I think about this, because I ask people that are neutral to cornhole, that don't play cornhole. Like, for instance, the CEO at my work. I run a cornhole tournament at work every year. We have a good time. They love it. They said it's the best fun day they've ever had. And I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years. Well, I asked our CEO, I was like, he come up to me, he goes, I saw Cornhole on ESPN. I seen that guy. His name's Guy. I said, yes, Matt Guy. He goes, did he win that match? I said, well, you didn't watch it all? He goes, well, I watched him go down and back a couple times, and then turned it. So my question is, how can we get the game where the average person wants to watch it like they do football or other sports? And that's been my hard thing to figure out. Like, how do you cornhole can get boring. I like watching cornhole because I play it.
Yeah. But
I don't watch golf because I don't play it. But millions of people watch golf. How do you get the average Joe engaged in watching it on TV? It's my thing. I think that's a big thing to
yeah, I'd be curious to see the ratings, man. Yeah, I'd be curious to see the ratings on an ACL event and just.
I mean, we have beaten Major League Baseball in the past when they've gone against each other.
Oh,
so
yeah?
we've beaten Major League Baseball. Yeah, but in the end, just like what you said, you got to make it interesting. There's got to be something, something that somebody's fighting for. So maybe this new teams event.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe the new teams event might do something, because then you could follow a whole team and you could follow some players and maybe that'll do something for the fan, the fan base. I don't know for sure, but you're right. I watched a little bit. I don't know who won. That happens in average America when it comes to cornhole, because just like Ryan said, I mean, how exciting is it really for the average person to sit down and watch? It's like watching soccer.
And I mean, I played soccer in high school and I don't watch soccer. Can I watch soccer? Yeah, but you know what I mean? Well, right. Honestly, if you can grow the game big enough where you have millions of players, then those will be the watchers.
Right.
But what I think the ultimate goal is you need get to the point where people want to buy a ticket and come watch the shit go down,
Yeah.
Right.
And would I buy a ticket to go watch something? Probably. I mean, I like it. Hopefully I could get in, just because I've been doing this a while. Maybe I can get like a VIP pass. But you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Like, and Toby Smith, Toby Smith, Bird.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Toby he's an engineer, so he breaks shit down. I have that same mentality. He's like, why do you think you should get paid if nobody's paying to watch you play? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think you deserve all this money when nobody gives a shit about watching you play? So that's been one thing that I've always thought about, is like, how do we get people to want to watch people play cornhole?
That's a good question.
Is it the character? Is it the person playing who knows what he's going to do next? Or is his interview like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does seem that in the American Cornhole League, with the 256 pros that we have, it does seem like it's the character, or like in Dayton's case, that he already has some fans because of some of the other stuff that he's done. But it does seem like there is some sort of something that draws you to them, some sort of character thing. Like Noah Wooten, he seems to have a lot of fans. The women all seem to have a lot of fans. So there is something, that draws people to the TV for certain players. But I think we got to figure out what it is.
I'll tell you this. Well, if I had a show, Dayton Weber, if you want to draw some fans, you put that young man on there. Cause I mean, that he is an, amazing human being in itself. You know what I mean? Like, he don't even have to play cornhole and people would watch him,
Right.
But Yeah, I don't know what the secret sauce is, but I think in the end, we need to find a way for people to watch cornhole on TV. When it comes on, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this," but I don't want to tweak the game so much where it screws the game up just so you can get viewers. Does that make any sense? Like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to be fake like wrestling just to get people to watch it. Like, this is a game. We're serious. Let's play the real game.
Well, I think
it's like
the ACL has already kind of tweaked it, the game a little bit just for TV with the 10-round matches. Like that wasn't a thing before until TV came around.
Well, that's a whole series though. The ACL changed that. That's their shootout series.
Yeah.
You got to do that to make it work, for time wise.
Yeah.
When you that's a lot of money and time, and you're on a network, you got to get done. I get all that. Do I like it? I mean, it is what it is, but it is on TV, so you're getting exposure. So the trade-off is, do we tweak the game enough and get the exposure on national TV, or do we play normal games and then
are you good over there, Ron? You got to
sacrifice that.
You got to use the restroom or something, or you good?
I do. I'm about to go. I'll be right back.
All right, man. Yeah, that works.
Hey, y'all talk. Hey, y'all talk about me while I'm gone. This is gonna sound funny.
We are back. Here we go.
Of course, I peed outside my yard, so I peed a stream that was like 6 foot away from me.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, I'm still professional. Hey,
bro, only you can take them Yager bombs like that. I've done a few Yager bombs with you in the bars after tournaments before. I still want to get to your shack, man. I swear I do. The only time I went down to South Carolina with Laura, and we were going to stop by, and you were actually in West Virginia, I think, running a tournament. I was like, damn, the timing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Hey, Bird.
Yeah.
Bird, I'll tell you this. You, Laura, and Rob, you two, not that y'all take me up on it.
You don't know that.
It's just me. It's me and my girlfriend. I have a daughter. Actually, Rob lives in Sarasota, Florida. She'll be 20 in March.
Yeah.
So I have no kids here at home. It's just me and my girlfriend and Dee Dee. If y'all are ever in the area, you can stay. I've got a couple extra bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I got plenty of booze or whatever. I got anything y'all want here.
Well, I definitely want to visit the shack at some point because I've heard about the parties that go on there, and I know you like to throw it down. Look, he's loading his gun up for another one. There he goes. Where's that sriracha bottle? Good God.
I love this guy.
You
bro.
might be.
I gotta get to some events where this guy is, bro.
Oh man. Well, come down in July, Rob. Come down in July.
Oh yeah.
The Sweet Willie surf
I
competition.
thought I was supposed to be part of that thing.
Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to be part of that thing.
Man, we're still ironing all details.
You talking about Rock the Pig?
No, that's a different one
for sure.
That's Rock the Boards.
Coming to that for sure.
That's Rock the Boards is accompanying Rock the Pig, just like it was last year.
Oh yeah.
And I already talked to Chris Clark about it, and he's getting with Frank to make sure there's no major or anything on September 17th. So Frank Gears, make sure Frank listens to this, Ryan. You text Frank, say, hey, I was on Bird's podcast. Listen, Frank, don't have a major on September 17th because I need Labelle and Clark. Please. Thank you.
Typically, September is right around the beginning of the season for both organizations, but the ACL moved their beginning to October 1st. So
yeah, okay.
I know there won't be anything really going on with the ACL at that point.
Yeah.
So, That's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Ryan. I've seen you at the World Championships the past couple of years. When they were in Cherokee, I know I saw you there both years. And then I think I saw you one time in Rock Hill. When you go to those things, I know you don't just go.
Hey, real quick. The only one I went to was the very first one in Cherokee.
Okay.
The very first one where Meacham was on the mic.
Yeah.
And I went up there to check it out. You know, I mean, dude, I'm not negative about anything that everybody's doing. Like if that is way beyond me. Like people think, for example, Eric Ryder, I DJ'd Trey Ryder's wedding.
Nice.
Like I know all these people good, and none of this has anything to do with our personal relationship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, you're playing in this league, and I do stuff for this league. And the best way I can describe it, and again, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just to sum it up real quick, I've known Frank Gears for 16 years now. And no matter what anybody has bad blood with him or whatever, I don't. Like he's actually a friend of mine now, you know, over these years. And it's hard for me. People are like, why aren't you at the ACL? Why aren't you doing the ACL stuff now? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, for me, it's not about going with who's on TV or who's more popular or who's this or who's that. Frank's my friend, and I'm going to support his endeavors. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If some random dude came up and said, I've got a convenience store across the street from your buddy and my Coca-Cola is $1 cheaper than his, come buy it from me. I'm like, nope, I'm still going to buy it from my buddy because I want to support my buddy. That's where I'm at. I'm a loyal type of guy. And that's just what it is. If Frank did something to screw me over or whatever it was, and we ain't got to get into all that if people's been whatever. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at. And
that's what I was going to ask you. Basically, it wasn't. I don't. All that other stuff to me is something that I understand about you, and I'm very glad, and I'm okay with all that. But my question was, when you were there and you were saying hi to all your friends and things like that, and you were watching it, was it running to the same efficiency? Were you happy with the way it was running? Were you looking at it like that a little bit? Were you happy with the way it was running? And you know.
Hey, that's good because I look at every tournament like that because I'm a tournament director and I walk in somewhere, especially if I go somewhere and I can play and I'm sitting there playing and experiencing what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, he could be doing this or they could be doing that, you know, whatever. I've got my own quirks about tournaments and being thorough and on point and on top of your shit. But I wasn't playing there. I just came in there and I saw. So I didn't really have a lot of input on that because it wasn't you know what I mean? Like I just walked in and I talked to people and then I went and then I hit the jackpot on the damn poker machine.
Hell yeah, you did. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I'm glad I went.
I remember you doing that.
Either way, though, honestly, everything going on with Cornhole, it's not a feud. We're all out for the same stuff, man. We are. We're all going for the same thing. So if we can put like money aside, like we just want Cornhole to be a big deal. I want it to be a big deal. I wouldn't be still doing it now.
So
if it wasn't a big deal.
With that being said, do you ever see Frank Gears and Stacey Moore working together?
You asking the wrong. Really,
You never know, right? You never know.
I have no clue. How about that?
Yeah.
I have no. I don't know. I mean, but here's the deal. What about this question? What if they did work together? Where would it go?
Yeah, gosh, it could be. I mean, it
You know
could be
what I'm saying?
amazing, right? It could be unbelievable.
Would it be the same if we combined them all? Let's just say we combined them all tomorrow. There'd be 100 opens or majors. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Well,
where are we going? Where are we going from here?
It would be like when the WWE bought the WCW and they tried to run two different wrestling organizations, owned by the WWE. It didn't work.
Yeah,
I think too many egos, maybe.
I think it's like a Pepsi and Coke type thing, is what I think.
Yeah.
Some people like Pepsi and some like Coke. I don't know, man. I really don't.
What do you and when these players make that decision, they jump over and they become pros in the other league. I know you're happy or you're sad to lose them because that's when they have to sign that exclusive contract and things like that. But it's awesome that you guys can elevate the next group of players into that pro status, into that pro level. So to me, it's okay that people make those decisions and maybe they base it on what they think is a money move. But to me, it's just, it's just a personal decision. You know what I mean? But I know you got to be sad to see him go. I mean, you've got years with Matt Guy. I don't know if you guys are buddies. I'm sure you guys talk a little bit.
Yeah.
But
hey, well, I'll tell you this. If people aren't playing in tournaments that I run, right, like Matt Guy or whoever wins, all of them, all the top 16 or 20. And the thing is, below that, there's so many players I don't know now because I'm not at every event. And there's a ton of players at ACO events that are, the PPR is the big thing now, right? PPR.
Yeah.
Dude, there's people in the ACO now, you don't know them, and they're shooting 10-8 PPRs. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's a ton of people putting up the stats, no matter where they're playing. They're putting them up. So for me, from what you're asking, I've ran a lot of tournaments in my time, and Matt Guy and all the big time players, I've ran all the tournaments with them in them. So I do have a close relationship with all those players because, like I said earlier, if you win, you have to talk to me. You got to tell me you won, and then I call you. I've called their names a million times. But do I still talk to them? Oh yeah. I mean, you see my hat, Bolt Dog was my buddy when he died a year ago Monday. Matt Guy called me, and because he knew Bolton or whatever, like Cedro Herrera. I mean, like all the top players I know, and they know me, and we might not see each other all the time, but it changes nothing for me. If they're not playing in a tournament I'm running, that's fine. As long as they're playing tournaments and they're doing their thing, I am so happy.
Right.
It's not to me, it's not a competition like that, especially with players. Like, I don't care where you play. I don't care if you quit playing. It's a relationship between me and you on a personal level. This isn't just cornhole only. And there's certain people, and you can, every one of y'all can vouch to this. You can go to several events and meet a bunch of people, and you're like, oh, everybody's cool. But as you go to more and more events and you see those same people over and over again, you start getting to know them a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit better, and a little bit better. You start scratching the surface even more. And then what happens is you're like, you know what? I don't like Mike Bird. He's a fucking asshole.
I knew it. I knew it.
Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just life. Like cornhole to me, it's like going to the fair with the same people there riding the rides. And then over time, I go to the fair every week and he's been there every week. You know what? This dude's actually really cool because I've gotten to know him. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers suck. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
That's the way I look at stuff. I don't look at anything. Look, anybody that's doing anything cornhole positive, I'm for it. Mm-hmm. And then, but the part that the narrative, I hate to use that word narrative because you hear it every day and this shit. Mm. But the narrative of cornhole is like, oh, I get it all the fucking time. Ryan, why ain't you in with the ACL? I'm like, why should I be? Or why should I be with this group? Or why should I be with that group? I can never get an answer because none of it really matters. It's what matters is we're trying to elevate this game to be big. And when it's big, it's going to be good for everybody. Period.
I think it's big right now, and I think it's good for everybody.
Well, it is. It is. Dude, I've seen it when there was nothing.
Yeah.
I've seen it when it was nothing.
I mean, the ACO is still selling out majors right now on the same weekends that the ACL is playing too. So, I mean.
Hey, that goes back to what I said earlier. You just can't accommodate everybody to play in one event.
Yeah.
Hell, the venues just won't even hold enough boards. Even if you can accommodate them, you can't.
Yeah. Well,
right.
So that's a great problem to have, right?
Well, so I'm a member of this cornhole group, and I think Rob is too. That Addicted to Cornhole group on Facebook. Are you in that one, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a Tanisha Lashley.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in there. I had no idea there was so many cornhole trolls with so much hate, but then again, it is Facebook, so you can expect it. But like the big thing people are talking about now is, well, not the big thing, but as of recently, as in yesterday, I saw a bunch of comments about how the ACO is, well, let me take it back. They were talking about who's the GOAT of cornhole. Okay.
Hey, Matt Guy, hey.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this later. Okay, so the argument is who's the GOAT of cornhole? And people are saying, oh, he won all these tournaments in the B League, talking about the ACO back in the day. But what these people don't realize is
the B League then.
It wasn't the B League back then. Majority of these majority, if not, well, over half or 60% were ACO players back in the day.
Hey, well, now, let me inform you real quick.
Uh-huh. Inform me.
For real.
Yeah.
I'm an honest motherfucker. I'm not bullshitting. I've been to 16 world championships.
16.
Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't been a stronger field of players. Now, mind you, if you go to a tournament and there's Matt Guy and James Baldwin in your tournament or whatever. I love James Baldwin. I think he's awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm going on the scene to say that I've always liked James Baldwin. He's my secret little guy. But I like him for a lot of reasons. But anyway, we won't.
Wait, what other reasons, huh? What are we talking here?
Hey, no, it has nothing to do with nothing freaky, motherfucker.
All right, we believe you.
But what I'm saying is, you can go to a tournament with 100 players. If there's a Baldwin and a Matt Guy there, it's a tough tournament, right? Because you got a tough chance to win. Now, if you go to a tournament and there's 20 players there that are just unreal, it's even a tougher tournament. All right, so with that said, probably the strongest world championships, and I'll say on record right now, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh my goodness.
I can't remember what year because it was there 2 years, maybe 13, 14. I don't know. Dude, every player that you see on TV now,
right?
Okay, we're there, along with a laundry list of a bunch of others. And Rob wasn't one of them that I was thinking that was going to beat everybody, but nothing against you. Hey, no, but for real.
Who won the King of Cornhole there?
I have managed so many tournaments. Like all I hear now is like, oh, the field's so deep. You're not wrong. There are so many new good players out there right now, 100%. But 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was deep as shit then too. It was hard to win, just like it's hard to win now. And if you watch the people that are in the finals now, 95% of them are those same people from back then. Yeah. And here's my theory as to why they're still there. I think they learned how to throw a bag down the middle because they always had to play with the same bags. You had to throw those fat 450s down the middle for them to go in.
For sure.
So now you can throw a bag close to the hole when it goes in. So I mean, honestly, I think it kind of hurts people playing now. They're like, well, I don't have to focus on getting it right down the middle. I just got to get it close. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the expert.
I think that's the game now. That's the game now because we're never going to go back to another bag like the 450. Like the ACO doesn't even do that, right?
Hey, but you're never gonna go back to everybody playing with the same bag.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the things you guys were creating over there with that Pro Series. Everybody is playing with the same bag in that Pro Series.
They did in that, and actually, the Burner Series that I run, I provide all the bags.
Nice.
But for my Burner Series. It's I did it, and I can get into a bunch of stuff about this, but I did it because it's local. I run every tournament at the same place. It's one every 6 weeks. It's just like a season with an organization, but local people can just come out and play and drive 30 minutes down the road and play in something that's kind of like traveling. You know what I mean? They can play local and go to a championships and get the same kind of feel or whatever. But I provide all the bags and to make it fair for everybody.
Well, Ryan, hey, look, we're running short on time here, and before we let you go, I want to ask you one more question. So you've been around 16 plus years. You've seen all these cornhole players come through your courts. You've seen them all just about. Who, in your opinion, and this is what I think, a resume, you have to have a resume to be the GOAT. You can't have 1 or 2 good seasons to be the GOAT like a lot of people think.
Well, you can stop now.
So who is your GOAT?
Yeah, Matt Guy's the GOAT. I said this 5 years ago. Matt Guy will go down in history as the best player to ever play the game of cornhole.
Do you think there's a close runner-up? I can't even think of someone that's got multiple.
Windsor, maybe.
Windsor?
Windsor's a good one. Hey.
He's the only other guy with 2, right?
I've seen Matt Guy for the last 16 years or whatever. He is definitely the GOAT, period. I don't care if he didn't win one singles match last season or whatever it is. I don't care. He's the best that will ever play this game till eternity. I think that right now. Matt Guy has the focus that no other cornhole player has ever.
There's no doubt. He's still throwing them down the middle.
Sickening.
11.58. I mean,
hey,
what'd you think about him losing to that 11-year-old, or was it 12-year-old?
Well, that's fine. Hey, and that happens along the way.
Yeah.
But Matt Guy will always be the GOAT. Now, you can't put a GOAT. You know, I see those little GOAT memes.
Yeah.
You can't put that by nobody but Matt Guy.
No doubt. I mean, I agree. If you call it the greatest of all time, he's definitely the greatest. And then you can still have people that are the best. You know, somebody who's the best right now, but Matt Guy is without a doubt the greatest of all time.
Hey, I will give props to this, because this is a guy that I've never managed in a tournament, because maybe he was younger then or whatever. Trey Birchfield is he would be my next in line.
The robot.
Me personally.
Yeah.
He would be my next in line. Well, with Windsor too. Windsor. Either way, no one will ever be as good as Matt Guy.
Yeah.
Ever. Until we die.
I mean, he's got 9 world championships in the ACO, and there's only, I think, one other guy that ever repeated. I think Windsor's the only other guy who's got 2.
No, he's only got
one.
Oh, okay.
I've got it right here.
Who's the only other guy with 2?
No one.
Nobody.
Nobody's got 2?
No, I've got it right here.
Hey, but here's the thing that people don't realize. So Matt Guy won the first 5. I'll say pretty easy, because everybody wasn't as advanced yet. You know what I mean? Like the early days.
Yeah,
Matt Guy was way above the curve.
Yeah, he beat Theo Baca. He beat Randy Atha, Steve Vanderveer twice, and he beat Gary Lewis.
Yeah.
Gary Lewis sucks anyway. I'll go ahead and say that on the podcast.
Wow.
Hope Gary's
listening. Poor Gary.
Hey, he might suck. Hey, Gary Lewis is awesome as a person.
Yeah,
too.
he is. He's always talking shit on Facebook.
Matt Guy went a couple years. He was in this little slump, but then he come back and won. And I'll tell you, my most favorite match that I've ever watched. We're in Knoxville. It was Baldwin against Matt Guy.
Up 18-6 or something like that.
And I sat down beside Eric Heinerman. We're right here under the tent. I'm at ready to watch the game.
Yeah.
Hell, it's 18-0 in 3 throws. Baldwin's up, and I'm like, dude, this is gonna be the fastest finals I've ever seen. Matt got through this airmail and scored 2. He went on. He won 21-18, 21-2. And won $20,000, because first place in that tournament only won money. Matt Guy, if the ranch is on the line, you better bet on Matt Guy. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, Matt was on the podcast. Matt was on the podcast, and he spoke about that. Remember, Rob? And he said what fired him up was he saw James Baldwin kind of strutting down to the other end of the court. And Matt said, "Oh, after that point, something clicked," and that's when he popped
that
it in.
airmail.
Yeah. Hey, so Ryan, who's the players to beat in the ACO right now? Who's the top dog over there?
Well, this past weekend, Spencer Garner won the major with 400 players.
Wow.
He's a youngster. You know the one thing that I guess the public don't see is all these players in the ACO, which is going to come. Mm-hmm. You don't see their stats like you see, like PPR is the shit right now, right? Right. Everybody's PPR. Yeah. PPR. Right. PPR. And it's coming. You know, we're trying to get all the players accustomed to the automated shit and all that stuff. But Caleb Hurt is already proven to be good. Austin Cameron, of course. I like Josh Glover. I say Glover, it's Glover, but I say Glover like Chris and April talk because they got the that accent up there.
Yeah.
Josh Glover, Kyle Anderson, Randall Garrison, DJ Long, Donnie Long. There's so many good players, and even the women, Caitlin Ham, Linda Oglesby, they're Tammy Williams. There's so many good players everywhere you go. It doesn't matter where you play them. There's good players everywhere, and I just say, hey, respect the game. Let's elevate it, baby. Let's go.
Well,
it doesn't matter where you're playing. Let's just keep playing.
Well, Ryan, man, that's a good note to end this on, man. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming on the show, man. This has been a blast. I could talk to you for another hour, but I think you might fall out of that chair pretty soon. But,
actually, I'm ready to talk for another hour.
My producer might fall asleep. She's over here struggling right now.
Well, maybe we need to incorporate her in the conversation.
She's been quiet. She's been quiet the whole show.
She's laughed a lot, though. She's definitely laughed a lot.
Hey, I will say this, Bird.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura May, you hear me? Can you talk?
Sir. Yep.
Okay. You remember when I met you at Rock the Pig?
Yep.
We had a connection, didn't we?
A disconnect.
A disconnect.
Hey, Bird. Bird, I ain't like that, man.
Nah, I know, bro. I know. Yeah, I've always respected you, Ryan. I've always loved to hang out with you, and hanging out under the tent with you is one thing I miss about being a part of ACO.
Hey, Bird. Hey, do you miss sleeping in the bed with me?
Bro,
no. Stop it.
Hell yeah, bro. We have some good spooning moments up in there.
Hey, do you remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? In Owensboro?
Where? Owensboro?
You didn't have a room.
Yeah,
and you had to sleep in the bed with me.
Yeah. Sometimes you make sacrifices, man. Sometimes you make sacrifices.
Bird, do you really not remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay.
I shared a bed with with 4 people in Knoxville. Lindsay Mabe, there's 2 other people.
Well,
it was your boy too, Ryan Johnson. He was in the room with us.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Good times, man.
Oh,
hey, but it's better to tell Laura May that you shared a bed with me and not fucking Lindsay.
Look, that was years ago. Lindsay's married. We didn't do anything, actually. I mean, actually, there was 2 beds.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura, I promise. Hey, Laura, I promise we didn't do anything either.
Yeah, I promise.
Yeah, okay.
Ryan's not my type. Yeah, his hair's too short.
Hey, I'm on. Hey, hold on. I got one more thing.
All right.
One more thing. He just said Ryan's not my type, right? Hey.
What did I say?
Hey, listen to this, and this is a good one. This is a good thing to end on. Let me tell you something. I'm a old skateboarder. Whatever we did in our early days, coming up to now as adults, right? I was a skateboarder. That was my life till I got out of high school. Then you work and you do whatever. but I still got that mentality of that style or that whatever. But you know what cornhole's done for me? And my example is like Chris and April. I don't know if Rob knows Chris and April Clark, which is not April Clark, it's April Clemens, but
should be.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time. I'm like, if we lived in the same town, I would have never have met y'all because we are totally different. Like I'm a little skater punk and y'all are like regular or whatever. But cornhole has brought us, like right now, Chris and April are younger than me, and they'll tell you, you'll be like, do you know Ryan Labelle? They'll be like, yeah, that's my son. Like they're like my parents. Yeah. And that gives you the perfect example of cornhole. It brings every walk of life together. I mean, here we are. I'm talking to Rob as a Sasquatch, and I never would have met a Sasquatch.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, Rob.
And Mike Bird, law enforcement.
Yeah.
Bird, don't arrest me, you asshole.
See? Him too.
You're not my target.
Hey, Bird, we rocked it out on the pontoon, bitch.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah. Labelle came down, visited Chris in April this past summer, and we took the pontoons out on the lake. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Labelle was doing those Jager Bombs.
Man,
I was drinking your liquor.
Oh.
Out of the sriracha. He's got to bring that sriracha bottle to rock the pig, man.
You had those pink panty shots. I don't know what they were.
Oh, what were those, Laura?
We didn't have shots.
It was old airplane bottles.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The pink
The little
vodka.
pink ones.
Yeah.
The little
it was
pink
like
ones.
the pink grapefruit vodka.
Yep.
Oh, those are good. I miss those.
Yeah, Ryan
And
drank
I
them all.
I looked over at Laura. I was like, "You ready to party?" And she was out there trying to lay out in the sun. I was like, "Well,
now that's a connect.
That's her. That's her. Take her to the beach. She goes straight to the sand and throws her towel down.
Before we close out, Bird, rock the pig this year.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it again. We're going out on the pontoons again.
If I have mine, I'm thinking about selling mine, but we'll see.
Well, how about
you want me to pull mine up? I'll pull mine up.
Come on.
Hey, well, you can come up on Clark's pontoon.
All right. I'm down for that. I'm down. And I hope everybody, I hope you come to it, Rob. We can always
yeah. I'm planning.
I'd like for you to come to one of my events, man, and see how I put on a show. I like putting on events, man. That's one thing I miss. Actually, that's one thing I'm going to give Frank props for is getting me into the organizing of the cornhole tournaments, because that became a big part of my life after cornhole with what I'm doing now with these Facebook groups and these events I put on. It really helped a lot. But, yeah, I do miss it. But anyway, Ryan, thanks.
That's a big part of it.
It is, man. Yep. It is. Well, thanks for being on the show, Ryan. Rob, we'll see you next time. And, hey, you're our first director for Directors Month. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Mike. That's Rob. And this is the Sticky Side. Throw them straight, everybody. Bye.
Cause we all just wanna be cornhole stars saying cheap hotels and driving beat up cars. The crowd gets crazy and the beers ain't cheap. We get drunk all day so we just don't eat. And we hang out at the local bar, throwing bags in the hole like we have it all.